On January 24, 2010, chests were added into the game by the lead game developer of Minecraft, Markus Persson, better known by his game alias, Notch. And, although the chests have caused some confusion due to the bugs that were inherent in the older game versions, the long-lasted desire of players to put their things in a wooden box was satisfied. At the time, chest was considered one of, if not the most, important block in the game, since only this block allowed things to be saved without further disappearance after death in the newly introduced survival mode. Also, a higher demand for consideration should be put on the fact that chests were one of the only furniture blocks at the time, which led to their usage as a decoration in the majority of people's buildings. On the other hand, now, after the addition of all the other container blocks, the relevancy of using chests decreases with each and every second. So, the question remains, why are they still used? As we already know a small portion of the background behind the chest block, the main one, let's break down some of the key factors that gave it all the necessity and importance in the community. So, there are many factors that should be considered, but if it had to be narrowed down to the most important ones, it should be ability to hold and contain items, decorational purposes, and, most importantly, the loot box system. The last addition might leave you with some questions, but don't worry, we'll come back to it later. And for now, let's dive in. The first factor, ability to hold and contain items. Sure, it might sound like a great deal, for only 2 logs, or converting 8 planks, you get a solid storage which can hold up to 1,728 blocks. But, is it that efficient nowadays? You see, as good as it sounds in terms of capacity, the chest block is completely stationary, which is a really high disadvantage when being compared to blocks such as an ender chest or shulker box, both of which give a person a complete freedom of transportation.
But aren't those alternatives available to the player only at the end game?
Yes, they are, but even if we only emphasize on the capacity of the chest block, it is, in fact, lacking cost efficiency, since the barrel block can give a player the same amount of space while also being cheaper in crafting.
Oh, okay.
Second factor, decorational purposes, is in fact the one that doesn't really need that much of an explanation. Yeah, I suppose that someone might find the chest texture eye-attracting, but the majority of gigachads would still prefer the barrel block. You know, now that I think of it, it is a factor really dependent on any specific person taken, but nonetheless is important. You see, as before there are no alternative to the chest, now there is, which is making it have a statistically smaller chance of being used, as the parameter of block distribution is higher. Any questions so far?
No, not really.
Perfect, then let's go to the last one. So, the last, and by far the most important factor for the chest in the current game state, the loot box system. As funny as it might sound, like, oh my god, I just got a knife from an old chest, it is actually what it is. Each time when a player goes into the dungeon or meets a spawner room in the depths of the caves, the only thing which we are coming for is the loot, which is located in their chests. But, in the Tricky Trials update, the chest loot box system was basically exterminated, as a better and way funnier and interesting alternative was created, vaults. And by doing that, this update has destroyed the only main purpose of the chest block left. In conclusion, only one thing really should be stated. The chest block will still remain its legacy and will always be in the hearts of some of the old fans, but it's clearly shown that its usage is quite inefficient these days. Well, I guess that's it. Well, see ya! Is it the end?
Yeah, it's definitely the end, don't worry.
I think that he's still here.